going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and approach he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult. The understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike could have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolute serious racing league. Everybody's going to have fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Hello everybody and welcome to the JPB Radical SR8 Championship here from Spa. It's time for another round 5, to take us to the halfway mark of our season as we race every week from the start of September to the middle of November in our 10 race calendar using, of course, the wonderful Radical SR8 here on a Monday night. This time round it's myself in Leary alongside James Parfitt and will be for the next couple of weeks as well. Looking forward to getting back into some Radicals racing, James. We haven't commentated on these together for a while. I know you've been part of this series for the first 4 rounds, and it is interesting to go back to the SR8 after a couple of seasons away from it. Of course, in the officials these days, the SR10 is more widely used. It's the more modern version of this car. However, this car can very much still provide some very good racing indeed. Still very much enjoy it. Love the sound it makes, by the way. And glad to be along for round 5 of our championship. Yep, these are the driver standings. At the moment, James Barry leading the way by 32 points after 4 rounds ahead of Ewan Bremer. Then it's George Gonzaga in 3rd place. Jamie Bird and Mike Booston rounding up the top 5. Dave Ralston is in 6th place, only a few points further back. Then it's Luke Maxwell 7th. John McCutcheon and Menno de Graaf are tied in 8th place on 171. Paul Crabb rounds out the top 10. Robert Williams just outside of that with Paul Jacquelet, who is here today. We've just seen him out on the circuit in 12th. Then it's Stefan Mellis in 13th place, at Graham Matthew and Leah Anderson rounding out the top 15. 1 point between Eric Carmen and Josh Reed, with Paolo Tempera in 18th position. Further down to the rest of the top 20, Wayne Palmer and Julian Race, the final drivers to have scored points in this season. Early times coming in here, 15 minutes in qualifying as always, followed by a 10-minute race with the grid set from the qualifying results, and then the top 10 reversed into a 45-minute race, which is a real test, I've got to say. I think, if you correct me if I'm wrong, 45 minutes is longer than what you get in an official series. A pit stop required as well. It does make it into a bit more of a longer, drawn-out race, proper race, rather than just a sprint race, which is what you get a lot of in the Radicals.
Yeah, that's what we've done. So we purposely set it to 45 minutes because they will run out of fuel. And they're on fixed setups as well, based off the official calendar. We know they generally go for about 30 minutes. So what we've done, we've made it 45, and we've said to them, right, you've got to make a pit stop. So that's what they've done. We don't expect tyre changes. It's not an enforced rule. They don't have to worry about that, but they do have to make a pit stop there as well. Paul LeMay, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Paul. How are you, dear sir? Thanks so much for joining us. Now, we did have a couple of people in, like, 2 hours ago in the YouTube chat as well. Just DOGT, so he will share on his YouTube channel apparently. And Golden Botto, I have no idea who they are, but thanks so much for joining us. It's you know, you sound amazing individuals, so there we go. But this one should be really exciting. Spa, SR8s, Kemmel. That's where most of the overtakes are going to be, I believe, on this one.
Possibly, yep. We've seen plenty of good racing, though, here down the seasons in the Radical Race Series, of course, which is still covered here on the JPB YouTube channel. And I need to remember there's plenty of surprise winners down the years as well in that series here at Spa. Bremer briefly goes to the top, briefly though eclipsed as well by John McCutcheon, who goes back to the front. Open qualifying here, by the way, so everyone can see one another. And you've got to be wary of one another as well. One thing I didn't quite realise, maybe until I saw that car on the gravel there, these cars seem to have a bit more realistic damage these days than they used to.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's bits flying off them all over the place, Mr. O'Leary, and I will tell you that now. There is bits flying all over the place. So be aware that we will see lots of people with problems with their cars, because if they make contact, it is very open of parts of the body going flying everywhere. I think it was Mike Buson last time out at Monza, I believe, may have lost his nose on that one. So yeah, very, very interesting indeed. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this could be a very interesting race. We've got 16 drivers on the grid, which is absolutely amazing. We've had a season battle so far between James Barry and John McCutcheon and Ewan Bremer, so that's going to be interesting, and how they get on. But we've got, you know, the likes of Mike Buson is in there, Stefan Mellis, Graham Matthews, Julian Reese, Josh Reed is all here as well. So yeah, lots of action to take, I think, on this one.
Yeah, plenty for sure. James Barry, by the way, had a couple of purple sectors in that lap, but he only goes fourth. John McCutcheon goes quickest in the second sector, although his first sector may disqualify him from getting any further away from the rest of the field, and his third sector as well looks to be a little bit off the mark. Mike Bousson is in 8th at the moment, currently trying to make up some positions now. He's gone green in the middle 2 sectors, so I wonder if he's not quite using the slipstream of Hutchison, is he? He's too far behind for any of that, but maybe he can just fight himself upwards here. He's not that many tenths away from even a front 3 rows here, maybe overtaking Jamie Bird with this lap.
Yeah, they have been asked not to slipstream in qualifying, but they have been asked to leave a gap. It's like the Radical Race Series on Thursdays. Don't slipstream in that. They've all decided that they're not going to slipstream in this. This is basically a real community league. John came to me with the idea. John has helped me out, and we've put the calendar together. Everybody else has mixed in and put their bits in as well. You know, the length, the points, the slipstreaming in qualifying. So everybody has kind of come together for this one, and it's been really nice, to be fair. There's been no, normal league ta-ta-tas that go on, and everybody's done we've all done a really good job with it. So, everybody has been involved in getting this league up and running and getting it out as it is now.
James Barry going quickest in the second and third sectors here. Is this going to be enough to put him up the standings? He's currently on row 2 in 4th place. What can he do now up towards the line? Don't think it's quite going to be enough for pole, but it might be enough for the front row as he goes over the line, and it is. It's second place for James Barry, just under 2 tenths away from John McCutcheon, who still holds the top spot and is going quicker again. The middle sector is his. He goes purple, steals that back from James Barry, who just went quicker than him a couple of moments ago.
Yeah, him and Josh Reed is another one. When Josh is kind of on it, you'll see him within the top 5, top 10 consistently. So it'll be interesting to see what Josh is able to do here. He's got greens going across the board at the moment, set at 2:15, so 2 seconds off the pace of John McCutcheon, who is tucked in behind him. We will show you both of them going over the line as well. TCR Juby Jinx and Miles Owen, of course, in YouTube chat supporting Ewan Bramer. I did have the how can I say, the privilege of having Dan Peoples in a NASCAR oval at Talladega earlier on in practice. It was all going fine until Dan swiped me off the circuit and then decided to slow down and wait for me. So let's just say an Xfinity at 200 miles an hour into another Xfinity does not look good. And then unfortunately we were both in separate splits and we both got crashed out. But it was interesting on that one. Obviously Miles and Dan, part of the sim race, I believe they were all part of the sim race Sweden esports team. So they're all together on that one. So that was quite fun earlier on with Dan Peoples.
That'll be practicing, I'd imagine, for a league he does on Thursday nights, I think it is.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
It's Thursday, maybe on.
They're doing Dega.
Yeah, I think so.
What did he call it? He did call it something actually. It was.
It's a Swedish league.
Svenska E-Racing Ligan. And they're at Dega, so apparently they're on that one. James Barry coming around the bus stop for the final time.
This is looking good, should I say? Just less than 3 minutes to go, and he does have another chance here at the end of this session if he wants it, if he's got the fuel, and he does go back up to second. So he's chasing McCutcheon, but as McCutcheon gets quicker, Barry gets quicker as well. The two of them are trading lap times. They're on the opposite sides of the circuit, although I think this next lap may be their last chance to go quicker. Are we going to see a 2:12 in this session?
Well, it's going to be interesting as well. Let's not count out this man. All right, we're kind of overlooking Paul Crabb at the moment, and Paul's done really well this season. So let's not completely overlook him. He won race 1 last time out at Monza as well. So I'm not saying he's going to be able to jump up to the front 2, but he isn't too far away from him at the moment.
Doesn't look like he's going to improve on this lap particularly, but he isn't too far away overall. Third place at the moment in this qualifying session, and there's a tiny bit of breathing space over Graf, who is in fourth. Into the final chicane now for John McCutcheon. 2 purple sectors again, sector 2 and 3. It seems that sector 1, whoever's got that fastest sector, is going really well. And the middle and third sectors are the ones where it's a bit easier to close the gap. Over the line. Oh no, not quite. Wow, that was close to a new fastest time. About 6 thousandths away from the fastest time. Mike Booson's going quickly as well. Oh, it's going in the pit lane.
Yeah.
For him, he maybe slow in the third sector there, which stopped him from going any quicker.
Do you know the interesting thing? Who holds the fastest sector time for sector 1?
Booson?
Booson. Yep.
Wow.
Holds the fastest sector
That's why
time.
no one can beat it. Mike Booson. So, there you go.
He's not had a good season, though, poor old Mike in the SR8.
Oh.
So,
When does he?
well, yeah, this is also true, to be plainly honest with you. He does have his moments. Don't forget, guys, as well, the league is brought to you by GridFinder. You can go check them out at gridfinder.com, and you can find the JPB Championship on there as well. So you can check them out. That would be absolutely amazing. Lots of leagues on GridFinder you can get yourself involved with. Barry coming up over the line now, just there. Is he going to go any quicker? 2:13.089. He goes quicker, but not quite fast enough. And Julian Reese here, who's in the final sector as well. Also, Bremen in SRS.
What does that mean? I don't know what that
Sim
means.
racing for Sweden, or sim racing
Yes,
Sweden.
Sweden, I think. Maybe,
Yeah. We did ask them to fill that out on SDK on the drivers app because we don't do driver overrides at the moment. We did ask him to fill it out on that, so I'm guessing he's not quite got that far to fill out his information. That's why he's still showing up as on SOB, Miles. So if you want to jump on him, get on it.
Although not literally. Into the first race we go then, and John McCutcheon takes the pole position, 600ths ahead of James Barry. The two of them will go head-to-head, I would have thought, in towards turn 1 and through the first lap. Paul Crabb and Menno de Graaf will be on row 2, ahead of Ewan Bremer, who we were just talking about, and Dave Ralston as well. Leah Anderson gets 7th, ahead of Jamie Bird, with Mike Booson, the last driver, within a second of pole. Carl Jacquelet, a further half-second back from 9th. He's 10th. Stefan Mellis is in 11th, ahead of Josh Reed, 1.9 seconds off pole. It's Robert Williams and Graham Matthew, the final 2 drivers, to have set times. Frederick Racedijk has gone 15th, having not setting a time. Julian Rice didn't seem to set a time in that session, although he was driving around. He'll be starting at the back of the field. The run down towards turn 1 is going to be okay, I think. It's that run towards Le Combe for the first time that everyone will be worried about.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the one, isn't it? Cold tyres up for El Rouge and Radion. Surely nothing can happen.
Interesting as ever happened in that combination.
Oh no, never. We haven't commentated on loads of races where there's been a car park at the top of there, is there?
I think I keep track of which tracks I commented on through the year. By the way, I think I'm up to nearly 20 on Spa now. So I've this year, that is. I've seen my fair share. But let's see what we're going to get here in the 2 races here tonight. It is 10 minutes, first of all. The first heat, very, very short and sweet indeed, based on the qualifying results. You want to be in that top 10 to get part of that reverse grid and up towards the front for the 45-minute feature race. Looks like we are going to have to wait for the 2 at the very back of the field. Not sure if Racetech or Race are going to get actually on the grid or not here. Race is. That's good news. What about Racetech?
No.
Doesn't look like it. So we are going to get 15 to start then here at Spa. The lights come on in round 5 of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship. And what a great launch from John McCutcheon as the lights go out on the way towards turn 1. He leads by miles. James Barry defends for second place as if it's for the lead. Ahead of Paul Crabb, who's into third place. Then it's Graff and Bremer, who round out the rest of the top 5.
Yeah, you can see McCutcheon got an absolute flying start away. James Barry tucked in right behind him. Paul Crabb, Menno de Graaf and Bremer. But Bremer's got Bousson for company. This is going to be an interesting one. Is Bousson's first move overtaking Ewan Bremer? We did say up through El Rouge and Radion, but they are going side by side. No changes in the front 4, but we could just see one with Bremer now.
Leah Anderson and Carl Jacquelet, by the way, very nearly made huge contact through up at Radion there and had a big crash, but they both held on very well indeed. Carl Jacquelet gets into the top 10 at the expense of Josh Reed, who is 11th. Leah Anderson has cleared them both and is in 9th for the It's Mellors choosing 12, looking at the inside, not going for it. We'll have a couple of replays, of course, at the start in a few moments' time, but it looks like all 15 have gotten away rather well.
Yeah, they did. They've absolutely flown off. No issues whatsoever. There was a few overtakes in the middle. Mike Busson, biggest overtake and gainer of the first part of the race. He's up 4 places. So he got that car off the line. He used El Rouge and Radion and absolutely barnstormed it and put himself up in 5th at the moment, chasing down Menno de Graaf. Great job from Mike.
Yep, biggest moving forward, and really deserves it as well. Into the top 5. I think most of those came off the launch off the line and then in towards La Source, because I saw him come out of La Source for the first time. I think he was already alongside Bremer, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a very good launch off the line indeed. It's so close though in this battle for 4th position. Graaf has not got a great run through the Kerpel Fair, I'm afraid, and so Busson and Bremer are going to fancy their chances here. Oh, into Blanchard there, right up the rear wing now, on the way in towards the chicane. Here goes Busson, looking up the inside, but he breaks early. There goes Bremer looking to the inside. He can't go anywhere, and so Jamie Bird tries to take the places, but he spins out of control. He rejoins rather questionably right in front of Carl Jacquelet, and well, he's somehow still going in the top 10.
Yeah, he did, unfortunately for Jamie Bird there. Busson is still, look at that. He could not be any closer behind Menno de Graaf, even if he wanted to. Watch this up through El Rouge and Radion. This is going to be a barnstorming run if Mike can bury this, I can tell you that much. But look at Crab and Barry. Crab is not letting him go there either. So Paul Crab nestled right in behind James Barry at the moment. He's looking to get in the move. McHutchison weaving a blinking jumper there from side to side there, unfortunately for him, but he didn't. He managed to break the toe. He did not get through. What about Busson side by side into Lacombe at the moment? Oh, he's touched him, Mike!
Oh, no. Busson and Graaf off in the gravel. Oh, and it's a questionable rejoin as well. They'll all filter around the outside, but Mike's great start is all slipped through his fingers, I'm afraid. He's going to drop right down to the back of this train now, and off goes Carl Jacquelet into the gravel. Oh, and his rear wing comes off as well down at Bruxelles. Real shame for him too. The opening lap was clean. Lap 2 is where the chaos has really ensued.
Yeah, everybody's closed on top of each other at the moment. Carl Jacquelet there having a big moment. We'll have a look back at that one. I want to have a look at Menno and also Mike Busson. Oh, Menno hit the curb. And Busson just unfortunately went straight into the back and, well, eventually ended up pushing him off the side of the circuit. Jacquelet, oh, that was Josh Reed. Josh Reed diving up the inside there over Carl Jacquelet. And unfortunately there was contact. But we've got Busson now with Graham Matthews, Williams and Julian Rees, who's had a great start, up 7 places in this one. And at the moment, Rob Williams is holding on to the pole for race number 2.
Can he hold it for another 6 minutes though? It's going to be a 5-lap opening race, by the way, because we're going 10 minutes here. It should be 5 laps anyway. We'll wait and see just how quick the pace is, but it should be. Down the inside for Busson, he gets through. Nicely through on Graham Matthew, who has another look down the inside. The final corner can't do it. Busson will get a good run now, and he should be back in the top 10 here. Williams will only hold this pole position for a little while. Here goes Busson to the inside, to La Source.
Oh, he's done a good hit.
Busson just fools him into braking late into turn 1, and he's into 10th place.
Oh, Rob Williams, you donut. Oh, he literally, don't worry, I know Rob in IRL. He used to be my next door neighbour, so don't panic too much. He actually got me into iRacing, but that's a different story for another day. Yeah, he got spooked, I think, for him, and Mike Busson went through. This is Stefan Mellis trying to go over with Josh Reed and James Barry, and John McHutchison were also very close as they're on the run down into Ravage now, coming out of Marmady. So, yeah, lots of action still taking place on the racetrack. Ewan Bremer has now got Paul Crab in front of him.
Certainly has. This is a top 4 that are running away with the rest of the field at the moment. Crab goes wide though through No Name. Good save, but will Bremer take advantage? No. He decides to stay behind, but that will just create a little bit of a gap. Crab can't afford to lose the slipstream to the front 2 here. Otherwise, first of all, he'll be under pressure from Bremer, but second of all, he won't have any chance to win the race, I wouldn't have thought, if he loses the slipstream. But into these final minutes of the race. There'll be 2 to go at the end of this one. Barry is going to be beginning to size up his options here and his opportunities to try and overtake John McHutchison before the conclusion of this first race.
Yeah, there's still this little battle here with Stefan Mellis heading the train. That's Josh Reed, Julian Rees, Mike Bousson. Williams has dropped back a little bit, but Mellis doing a great job at this moment in time. But he has got Josh Reed for company. So they're running very close together. We got this middle 5 from, where are we, 6th down to 10th. Close together, and we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 close together as well. Mellis trying to go round, take it round there. Josh Reed trying to take it round the outside at the moment.
Side by side through Blanchimont, but Reed and Mellis in towards the final chicane, and Reed breaks later and takes the place, or regains the 7th place. Good run on the exit though from Mellis, who may well have a go up the inside in towards the first corner here. No, decides to stay behind. Not going for a dive there, but look behind here. Race, Bousson and Williams are all there as we now get in the slipstream. What's going to happen here for the lead? Has John McHutchison got a good enough run through turn 1 to stay away from the rest? Is James Barry biding his time, or is he struggling to make the overtake? They all concertina together here. The front 4 separated all by less than 2 tenths of a second. They're all cut by less than 1 second. McHutchison defends, but it's only as a bit of a show, really. I don't think James Barry was particularly interested in trying to go through. He's waiting for the final lap, I think.
Yeah, but that's such a dangerous game. We've seen it at Road Atlanta. Oh, Julian Rees looks like he's just had a moment as well. Carl Jacquelet's also had a moment, but I think that was due to the fact that he's got no front wing, rear wing on the car. Oh, it is back on there. But he just must have had another moment. Rees, across the nose of Mike Bousson. Yeah, unfortunately on that one. But Barry's playing a dangerous game. We've seen it at Road Atlanta multiple times as well, Mr. O'Leary, that if they wait until that run down from 7 to 10A, they could be in trouble. They might not get it. And this is the same scenario for Barry. If he waits for our Rouge Radion, he might make a mistake in La Source. I don't know if it's a good idea. Stay tuned. We're going to find out shortly.
It's always a risky strategy. But by the way, it looks like we are going to get this 5th lap in here, which is to be expected. I'd be surprised if it was just the 4, to be fair. Be very slow speed. So, yeah, 5 laps it will be. Does Barry go for it into the final chicane? Does he wait for the final lap, final chicane? It would be a risk, but you never know. Looks to the outside, as Bremer was as well. Brakes a bit earlier. He'll close in and then lose a bit of speed, then look for the exit off of here. He's lost a bit of time there. The gap goes out to 4 tenths of a second, so he needs a good exit from La Source if he wants to make this move.
Yeah, he's got to nail this one, but the problem is look who's behind. Crab's got a better exit than he got over McHutchison. So it's down to really what Barry's going to be able to do. He's got to get a good run up through El Rouge Radion. It is imperative that he gets that run up, but it looks like Crab's also got a good run. This is it now. This is where we're going to see these little games play a part. James Barry trying to go past McHutchison on the final lap, running side by side. Crab's coming in as well. McHutchison's, he squeezed him. Oh, the Scotsman played the game. And Barry fell for that chest piece, because I tell you what, McHutchison did that squeeze on purpose.
Did just put him off a little bit, and it's worked. Barry is still in 2nd. Crab is closer than ever in 3rd. Bremer just sat behind there in 4th position as well. 10 minutes now elapses. It is the end of the opening race. At the end of this lap, Barry needs to find a way through wherever he can here in the final moments of this one. He's through Pouon on the last lap. Not as good of a run quite as it was for McHutchison. Crab closer than ever as well. I presume we're all looking at this final chicane for the move, if it's going to come.
Where's it going to come from? That's the problem. Where is it going to come from? Bremer's no slouch either. You know, I'm not saying he's going to get 4th to 1st, don't get me wrong, but he might break into the top 3. But Barry's got to be big and brave. He knows his side-by-side wheel racing is his downfall. He's admitted that when he's been racing Simon Edwards in Radical Race Series. He said the side-by-side racing kind of almost scares him a little bit. He's got to put that all behind him. He's got to be Batman. He's got to be brave. He's got to try and do it around the outside, and he hasn't done it around the outside. Crap! Oh, I thought, oh, is he?
He's got a good run, but Crab's not quite going to get there. It's John McCutcheon who wins race 1, ahead of James Barry and Paul Crab, who set 2 personal best laps in a row there to still finish 3rd. Bramer finishes 4th. A number of personal bests at the very end, I suppose, as their fuel goes down. 8th place in the end. Mellis gets there ahead of Bousson, and Williams does manage to get into the top 10 in a very good battle for 8th place that we couldn't catch more of because of the leading fight, but those battles for the final spots in that reverse grid were fierce by the looks of it.
They were. That's the thing. And that took place. Rob Williams, this is where he went off. He ran a little bit wide. Oh, he got followed by Menno de Graaf and manages to, just as we said, that goes over into the warm-up. So we will have a little 5-minute bit of a warm-up here as well. But that was a great start to the opening round, right? Let's face it, that Kemmel Straight is providing all the action, and it's great to see that these little SR8s are still, are capable of having right little ding-dongs on the race circuit.
I don't know if it feels to you, though, the same, but it feels to me as if the sticking in second place until the very last lap strategy, as we just saw from James Barry there, maybe is not quite as powerful as it used to be. Here at Spa, in the Radicals, it used to be almost a guarantee of victory. If your run out of La Source on the final lap was just okay, then you would normally be close enough to actually make a move, and it was normally a pretty sure thing that you'd make a move, actually. But that time round, it really looked as if Barry struggled to get past John McCutcheon, and that's waiting for the last lap in second place is maybe not the strategy that it used to be.
No, I think that was the problem, though, wasn't it? He didn't get a great run out of La Source. Paul Crab got actually closer to him than what he got to John McCutcheon. So I think if he'd nailed that exit and was within, I don't know, say a couple of attempts, for instance, going on to Kemmel, there might have been an opportunity for him to have a go. But his moment was the lap before, when he got side by side. He has said he needs to be braver, and that showed that he still got that fearful edge of side-by-side racing for James Barry, because he had that. He just had to ride that out. John's not going to put him in the gravel, but he's going to treat him rough and rough him up a bit, and John did that, and Barry just kind of let it frighten him, I suppose, in a way, where he needed just to be that little bit braver, I think, and really bring it to John and just say, well, this is it. It's going to be, I'm going to get through, or we're both going to end up off in the gravel here, because John roughed him up, and Barry, unfortunately, took the bait and backed out.
I think there's a bit of championship play going on here as well, because don't forget, James Barry has got quite a big championship lead as things stand. The exact figure is 35 points. Now, when you consider that it's only 30 for the victory in that first race, you start to realise that actually Barry does have a rather large championship advantage over Ewan Bramer, who was just in behind, George Gonzaga, who's not here, and Jamie Bird, who was way down. They're the three who are closest to Barry in the standings. Surely, with those three all behind him, way behind him in some cases, he was less willing to go side by side than maybe he otherwise would have been if it was just a one-off race.
Yeah, I don't disagree that might have played a part, but what he had to look at is the gap between the points in that race. The gap between first and second, and I think that 5-point gap that's there does play a part, and if he keeps giving up that 5 points, that 5 points, that 5 points, he's going to be caught. It's just one of them things. And it's the same in the feature race. If he gives up that win and it's 35, McCutcheon has pulled 10 back on him before we've even gone into the next round. So that jump, that 5-point gap between what they get as a winner and what they get as in second place does play a massive part.
What do you think we're going to get in race 2 then? We've got more than half the field reversed. The top 10 from the race results we had just there will be reversed into Robert Williams on pole, actually, in the second race. But the thing that impressed me about that opener was that the field spread was actually quite small and it was quite even across the field. There's a lot of pace, still deep within the field. It's not going to be easy for those guys who finished up front last time to do it again here. I wonder what we're going to see for this second race of the day.
I'm wondering what I'm going to see with Rob Williams getting off the line. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I will give you some updated information. It looks like Leah Anderson will not be back for the feature. Her VR keeps freezing and crashing. So, she's just said, no, I don't think, no, you're not going to have time on that one. Yeah, so we may have just lost Leah Anderson. There, who's not able to get in time.
Upon finding out there was only 10 seconds for her to join, she just said, lol.
I know.
Which I think means no. She's not going to have time. So there we go. Bit of a shame. But so we're only left with 14, I think, on the grid for this one, but let's find out. It's going to be Robert Williams on the front. Mike Booston will be one to watch from the front row as well in second, with Stefan Mellis in third, Josh Reed at fourth, Jamie Bird in fifth. Dave Roston got a top 5 in that last race on his own, starts sixth here. Had Ewan Bremer, who was at the back of that front group towards the end there, behind Paul Crabb, James Barry and John McCutcheon. Menno de Graaf just missed out on the top 10, so did Graham Matthew, Julian Rees and Carl Jacquelet. As I say, Leah Anderson won't be taking the start here, and Frederick Rice-Dyke looks like missing the start as well, because that's what happened for race 1. So we look like we're all ready to go. It's 45 minutes this time round, though, a bit more of a longer and more considered race for us, with a pit stop and with a reverse grid, but surely Mike Booston has to be the favourite.
He does, but he's doing his traditional, I'm going to be late getting on the grid thing. For Mike, I don't know why he does this. There you go, he's back on now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the start here.
Yep, and with Booston on the grid, we can finally get going. Race 2 here at Spa in the JPB Radical SR8 Championship. Ready to get going, and it's a great stop from Booston. Fires off the line in towards turn number 1, and he turns second into first. Rob Williams down the inside immediately here, and Booston's got to be careful of that. He goes on a wide line and takes the head of Williams, and then Mellis in third place. Bird and Reed round out the rest of the top 5.
Yeah, he does. Bousson got off to the line. He gave Williams a massive gap on the inside running into La Source, just in case he was coming. But now Williams is coming. This is going to be the moment now. Is Rob Williams going to be able to take Bousson? Use it. Use the overspeed. Stefan Mellis is looking there as well. Is he going to go 3 wide? He's not. Jamie Bird is going to send it up the inside of Mellis. He just got him. Mellis was thinking about going for Williams. Bird said, well, I'll have some of that. And Paul Crabb and Josh Reed are having a right little door banging ding dong.
Look at this, and side by side for McCutcheon as well with Bremer, I think that is. And Bremer gets through on the outside, he's still behind, of John McCutcheon, who's trying to get past Reed now as well. It's all going on here. The 14 drivers all fanning out nearly 3 wide on the way towards Pouan here. McCutcheon gets through into 6th place, ahead of Bremer and Barry as well, who's following through. Reed loses loads of places. He's down to 9th place already, I'm afraid, off the start here, in towards the pit path chicane. It's 9th, the battle now. David Roston trying to regain some of the places that he lost to the 4 that finished at the front of the opening race. Still side by side, meanwhile, for 10th as Reed loses his top 10 here on the opening lap.
Oh, Reed has literally just got bullied. He got bullied out at the beginning. He's been bullied all the way through this lap, and he has lost literally 7 spots at this moment in time. He's side by side with Jacqueline currently on the run now down through Blanchimont, the left-hander. Jacqueline's praying they don't have the contact they had in race number 1. There's action further up as well. It's 2 and 3 and 2 and 3, and Crabb's holding on. Oh no!
and up. Oh, onto his side, Ewan Bremer and James Barry are both off the road, I'm afraid, here, and Barry's going to go in the pit lane. He's going to have to reverse. Let's have another look at this. On the way towards the chicane, it was McCutcheon looking on the outside of Crab, who broke very late, spun in front of McCutcheon. He got into the side of Bremer, who got ramped up by James Barry. So that was going on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, on the left, McCutcheon and Crab were falling over each other. Here's McCutcheon re-emerging back towards the start. Let's have another look from McCutcheon's point of view. He's trying to avoid Crab, who's spinning right in front of him. He can't do anything to avoid. Crab then makes this contact, spins in front of McCutcheon, who loses his front end as well.
There's going to be like a carbon fibre eBay sale off Spa for these SR10s at this moment in time, because lots of people have lost body parts. But I can tell you one thing, people who aren't going to care is Mike Pousson, Jamie Bird and Rob Williams. They're 1, 2, 3. Go Rob. This has been his highest position all season. Right up here in the dizzy heights of third place. He's going to be getting height sickness up that high. I'll tell you that much for Rob Williams. But Jacqueline, however, has got McCutcheon with no nose still going through people.
And clearly isn't damaged physically, just cosmetically for John McCutcheon by the look of this, because he's still sick and looks odd, but he is still going quickly ahead of Jacqueline, now back to sixth position. Then Graf trying to get through here on Jacqueline. That's going to be tricky. Around the outside through the Banyan chicane. Big crash in the background. Looked like Reed. It is indeed Josh Reed. And a spin as well for Graf. Just in behind Crab. Well, it's all going on here. 2 crashes in 2 corners. This will happen to Graf. As Reed got through on the inside, and then Reed. Ah, that's contact with. Who was that with?
Julian Rees.
Julian Rees, okay. And that is going to do damage to Reed, I'm afraid. We've seen McCutcheon get away with it, and Rees might well get away with that contact as well, but Reed does not get away with that.
No, definitely.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Trying to go straight with 90-degree angle on the side there. Not good for Josh Reed.
Yeah. Not ideal. Side by side for 4th place. Mellis and Rolleston. I mentioned that Rolleston lost 4 places immediately off the start. It was to that group of 4 who finished at the front of the opening race. Oh dear, races off again there on the way towards turn 1. Yeah, it was to those 4 who finished at the top of race 1, but he's regained all of them in their melee at the final corner a couple of, or at least 1 lap ago. And now he's in the top 5 himself, Rolleston, looking for a position here on Mellis. He pulls to the outside to go and get it. Pousson versus Bird on the way towards Necom as well, further up the field. This is for the lead of the race, and Pousson gets it back again. Not sure where he lost it actually to Jamie Bird, but they've exchanged again, and Mike Pousson leads again.
Yeah, Rolleston got past on Mellis there. McCutcheon now literally nose to tail with Carl Jacqueline, who is not the most easiest person to overtake for Carl. He can drive defensively when he has to, and when he does it blinking well at the same time. So this could be a bunch of frustration here. We've seen this before, Mr. O'Leary. We've seen it at Brands Hatch. We've seen it with McCutcheon and a certain Paul Clark, where there was a, and they had it coming together for in the championship run. This could be the same thing. Jacqueline will and can, if he really wants to, frustrate John McCutcheon. He is the devil to try and get past this Carl Jacqueline.
McCutcheon may well start getting very frustrated by this. It could be a very long race indeed for him. James Barry's back out the pit lane, by the way. Leo Anson's back in the race as well, which is good. Joined 2 laps down, unfortunately, but he's circulating out on the circuit. Josh Reed will be back out in 14th as well, as it's all going on further down in the field. But you'd imagine that Barry and Reed will both be forced to make other pit stops later on in the race, effectively meaning they'll finish way down.
Yeah, it's going to be really close. It will be really close because of the way the fuel runs. So we'll have to see how they get on. And if they do have to go in, it will be just a literal splash and dash. But as you say, it will put them down the order. One of the other problems for John McCutcheon is not the fact that he's got Carl Jacqueline in front of him, frustrating the absolute living daylights out of him. He's got this man, the Irish Jaguar, behind him. One, Mr. Paul Crab. So, for John, he's got to look both ways. And at the moment, Crab, oh no.
Oh, hello. He's going to go for it into Eau Rouge. Crab round the outside. Oh, he's not going to do it up the hill there. He's going to run out of room. He probably would have been better served just waiting there. But anyway, he'll go for it again here on the way in towards Lecombe. And Matthew might well do as well. Graham Matthew, will he make it 3 wide? He might well do here. McCutcheon right on the outside is going to have to lift out of this. And Crab goes through the middle, breaking late. McCutcheon breaks quite late as well to try and at least hang on to 8th place. And he manages that, but you can't believe that that damage is not having any effect at all. It looks weird, first of all, and it's not affecting him dreadfully, but it must be affecting him a little bit.
Yeah, you can see he had no defence against Paul Crab that time around, right? He was literally a sitting duck. But the problem for McCutcheon is now Crab's problem. The difference is Crab is very, very aggressive when he needs to be, the Irishman. So, you know, this could be a kind of I want to say like a Tyson versus Tyson fight at the moment, because Jacquelette's great defending and Crab, when he needs to, is great on attacking. So we'll keep an eye on this for a minute and just seeing how this one pans out. But this could be, Chinese fireworks.
Whatever that means. And in towards the curb pull for them. Battle for 6th place continues, and the gap to the leaders only grows as well. Williams and Royston have been caught by Mellis, and Royston's actually giving Williams a bit of a hard time now on the way into the final chicane. Is he looking up the inside? Well, he's looking. Is he going to go through here? Late on the brakes? Looks like it. And so Royston moves up to 3rd now in the field. He might be in with a chance of this race, although Bird and Booson are going to be difficult to catch at the front.
Yeah, but Rollo's done really well this season. He seems to have come into his own in the SR8, as Williams just got that all a little bit wrong through La Source, and Mellis has just gone through on him there. So for Williams, he really needs to try and stay with him, because behind him, Paul Crab did clear Kyle Jacquelet and has got in front of him and put Jacquelet back in the hands of John McCutcheon again. So it's it's now McCutcheon's problem. He is the great defender of Kyle Jacquelet. Julian Reese is in the pits, so he's had a bit of a rough start, but Jacquelet's coming straight back at Crab now.
It's going down the middle of the road, Crab to try and defend, but it doesn't protect the inside line at all. Jacquelet straight through here, and this is becoming a frustrating battle for 6th for Crab, especially, maybe McCutcheon as well. On board we go with Paul Crab here. First chance in a little while. We've got to ride on board with one of these drivers and see them making their way around Spa. This is the downhill right-hander at Bruxelles. Take that early apex and then get a later one. He's a bit understeery on throttle, it looks like to me. But through a corner like this, they're absolutely delightful. Through No Name corner, now in towards Ewan as well. The double left-hander. Should be a fantastic corner to drive in these. High downforce, 5th gear. Wonderful, maybe less wonderful in the dirty air of Carl Jacquelet, but even so. And then towards the Fanion chicane, they will go. Crab is going to have no chance to overtake, I wouldn't have thought, until the bus stop chicane. We'll have to do it all over again.
Yeah, as I say, he can be very, very frustrated here. Didn't quite get that run out. He didn't get it out now. Now he's going to have to rely on the drive pulling him in. We'll stay on board with him just for a minute until we see if he can get side by side with Kyle Jacquelet. Through Kerport Ferrer, the left-hander coming into Blanchimont now. And here they go through this one. Is Crab going to have a go into the bus stop? What's Jacquelet's going to do? Jacquelet hugs the white line. Is he hugging it enough? No. But he didn't. He also did that.
Forced into a mistake. And through goes Crab. McCutcheon clearly believes he can make it from here to the end of the race, because he makes his pit stop now. As down the inside goes Mellis. He's through on Rob Williams here for 4th position. Been all sorts of changes going on inside the top 5, but that's been mostly Williams unfortunately being shuffled back and is now 5th. But you would think that McCutcheon can at least get to the end of the race from here now, because he's decided to come in. Meanwhile, these two will be staying out for some time yet. Bird versus Booson rears its head again, and Booson looks to be going through on the inside again here. Down later on the brakes, and he is through into 1st position again. So does Williams on Mellis. Round the outside for Rob Williams, who is not done yet. He's back through. Crab tries to go for on Jacquelet again here. All the battles going side by side until they come, and finally Crab has it done.
Oh, that could have been so worse. I almost thought Crab was going to come across the nose of Jacqueline. Menno de Graaf having a go. Jacqueline late turning in into Ravage, coming down now in through No Name. And yeah, it's really interesting because they kind of spread out across the lap, and then all of a sudden they hit El Rouge and Radio de Camel, and they're all stuck back together again. Williams and Mellis, look, for prime example, Mellis is 6 tenths behind, but I can guarantee by the time we get back onto El Rouge and Radion, he'll be right up behind his back end again. Menno de Graaf, Carl Jacqueline, the same scenario. McHutchinson, though, has gone into the pits. He's got his fast repair, he's got done. He did get out in front of James Barry. So if both of these men now could go to the end, it looks like from James Barry's point of view, he could be the one losing out a lot more.
I don't think James Barry will make it to the end anyway, because he pitted after only 1 or 2 laps. But in any case, he's 45 seconds off McCutcheon here, so a long way behind anyway. And going to be a very difficult and a bit of a points loss for him, I think, especially with Bird finishing right up towards the front here. Here goes Graaf looking at Jacqueline here. Don't forget, he spun off into the gravel at Stavelo not so long ago. But the battle between Jacqueline and Crab and McCutcheon have been so fierce that he's been able to catch back in again here. And Graaf is looking at 7th position in towards turn 1. He will wait. You'd imagine this move will be made into Lecom.
Oh, yep. Absolutely. But here we go for this one. Watch. So this will be battle number 1. So this is Will Close all the way up. The only one driving around on his own at the moment is poor old David Royston in the background. But Jamie Bird's going to go for it. Then we're going to go back a little bit. Oh, you can see they're already side by side in the background. Bird's going to try and make the move up on the inside. Not this time. What about Williams and Mellis? This is going to be another one. Is Williams going to send it in deep? He is. Mellis is going. Oh, you backed out there, son, on that one. And then Menno de Graaf couldn't clear Carl Jacqueline. So I told you, they spread out through the lap. And then they end up coming back together. Just Theo in YouTube chat. Damn, Leo, what happened? Via. Oh,
big
no!
Spin! Big spin and a big crash, I'm afraid. Menno de Graaf now loses his front bumper. Carl Jacqueline, after all that defending, spins to the inside at Malmedy. And it looked like he dropped it entirely in his own, and de Graaf couldn't brake in time to avoid the contact.
Curb.
Was it the curb or just too much power?
No, he curved it on the inside. Let me try and slow that down a minute and see if we can get that. But he just curved it on the inside. Watch his tyre. Up he goes, bounces the car, unsettles the car, and then he just goes round.
I think he might have spun anyway with the right foot on the power. I mean, this is unsavable from this position here. He was never going to get that back, unfortunately. The contact with de Graaf didn't send him round any further. Although it did give de Graaf a bit of front-end damage. Now this, would you believe, it's down for 13th place between Reed and Race.
Oh dear.
What are they doing? Side-by-side and side-to-side contact between the two there. They're about to go side-by-side up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion as well. Be careful, everybody. They make it through, thankfully. Thank goodness for that, because that could have been a lot worse as he bounces over the curve. Race, I wouldn't imagine this position will last very long. He will get reeled in again by Reed in the slipstream. Will there be a move into Lecom? He's gaining on the way up the hill here. Has a look at the inside, and he does not go for it.
Too far, I think, on that one. Menno de Graaf has entered into the pit lane. They're back to these guys are still fighting. Menno's in the pit lane. This is what I was going to say. Jamie Bird and Mike Bousson are back together again.
Here we go again. Jamie Bird looking for the outside this time round, as we're over a quarter of an hour through this feature race, and that was Bousson lifting off pretty comprehensively there to let Bird through. This is Williams and Mellis. Rollston's up ahead in 3rd place. Williams on the inside. Mellis braver this lap than he was last time to go around the outside. Williams was the one who nearly lost the car this time round, and he eventually loses the place to Mellis, who is now 4th.
Yeah, he had to wait for that. He had to wait for the SR8 to settle there. He'd got in far too hot into the lagoon, carried too much brake, and was almost going to flip the car. Well, not flip it over, but turn the car around. The back end was going to go. He thankfully lifted off the brake. The grip kicked in again, and then he almost spun it up, getting back on the throttle. So he had to be patient there, did Williams. However, these two, oh my God, they're having a right little fight, and this is down in 13th and 14th.
It's very fierce battle for such a low position, but there you go, side by side. Through they go.
Oh, no!
Oh, goodness! Side-to-side contact that they get away with. There's rear right damage on Race's car there. And you can just see a little bit more of the wheel than you would otherwise. However, they look to have both gotten away with it, and I'm not sure how. At that kind of speed, making that kind of contact, they survive.
I am amazed that they survived. I've got to be honest, because normally these cars, when they get hit, they go really light. And Reese, well, did a great job holding on to it. And thankfully, touch wood here, they both got through unscathed. So fair play to them on that one. We're coming into about 25 minutes to go. Bird, Buson are going to run once more. Mellis and Williams are going to run once more up through El Rouge Radio.
See what happens this time round, and when indeed they pit as well. Matthew is in to pit lane now. Graham Matthew been already. I think everybody below 9th has been in. 9th and below, I think, has been into pit lane so far. Although that doesn't mean that they won't have to stop again. Now it's only the top 6 who have yet to come in as Matthew and Jacqueline make their way in on this lap. Back from Bird, it looks like this is going to be one of the few laps where he's safe. Although Wilson will be gaining at the end of the straight, he's not gaining quickly enough. And Jamie Bird will be comfortable this time into Lecombe.
Yeah, you can see Mellis weaving around a bit, trying to break the toe off Rob Williams. And Williams again. Oh, well, Mellis was safe until he made a mistake and overshot it going into Lecombe.
That was an unforced error, I think it's fair to say. For 4th position. Well, I don't know if you call it unforced, but anyway. Jeff and Mellis is up to 4th position. These are the only 2 battles on the circuit, by the way, unless you count the one down in 13th, which is still ongoing. There was a brief off-track moment at the final corner there for Race. Sorry, not at the final corner. Must have been through the Fania chicane. By the way, Graham Matthews still in pit lane here. Not sure whether this is just a long stop or whether he's having issues, but he's dropping now behind James Barry, and that's a very long stop as far as I can see. And I don't quite know why, really.
No. He is within that 40-second window of a stop and go for speeding. So we've talked about it before, with 40 seconds added on to everybody else's pit lane time, gives you a stop and go. So maybe that might be the situation for Graham Matthew on that one. But back up front, they're going again now as they're closing in on the 2 cars in front, which is Julia Reese and Josh Reed. Now, God forbid if they catch them, because I wouldn't want to be trying to fight with 2 cars that are already fighting. So, you know, it's going to be tough for them, I think, on this one. But Booston and Bird, gone round one more time. They should be able to technically go about another possibly 10 to 12 minutes. But that is on the erring on the side of caution, and Paul Crabb's in.
He is, yes, into pit lane from 6th position. So making his way through on a number of overtakes throughout this race so far. Just under halfway through this one now, as Bird and Booston again make their way up towards the Lecombe chicane. And finally, there's a bit of tactics going on here. Booston stays behind. No tactics for 4th, though. Williams and Mellis are side by side again here. And there's surely only going to be one winner here. Mellis, you'd imagine, will hold on to the place and does. The inside line does seem to often prevail, although Mellis did work his way around the outside and make his way through a lap or two.
No!
We'll be through now because Williams spins into the wall on the exit of Malmedy. He just dropped it in a very similar way to what we saw from Carl Jacqueline, but his car is severely more damaged here, Rob Williams, and he's going to be out of this race.
Going to tow back to the pits and wait. Such a shame. He was having the race of his life, the race of this season for Williams in that SR8, and he just got it all a little bit wrong. Over the curb, unsettling the car. He then comes around the corner, over the curb again, unsettles the car again, and then bang into the wall. I can guarantee he will be kicking himself in that car for Williams, and that was best race of the season, bar none, on that one, and he was doing so well. Gutted for him, gutted.
Yeah, it's a real shame to see Someone's race slip away like that, I'm afraid, as we enter the end of lap 10 now. It's going to be a 20-lap race because we're pretty much on halfway. We're still yet to see them stop. And so we are going to see 20 laps here in this feature race after a 5-lap opener in the 10-minute. Over the line they go. I think they're being caught by Ralston here, you know. 13.6 from Bussen. Oh, 15.2. That wasn't a very good lap, I don't think, from Dave Ralston. I thought he was catching them overall, but still 4.5 seconds away, and he's going to need some more fighting than they're doing at the moment if he's going to be involved in it.
Yeah, he needs his Barolo. He needs his best lap time. He needs that 2:13.53 that he's done. He needs to be doing that. It's quali pace. He hasn't pitted yet, so he's running on low fuel at the moment. Same with Stefan Mellis, hasn't pitted either. But Bird and Buson, side by side again. Buson gets it this time. Can he hold it into Lacombe? He can. Oh, mind you, that was a very slidey SR8 at that point, over the curb. The thing is, you can do that, what Buson's done. But if you're Jacqueline and if you're Williams, you didn't survive the same thing. So it's almost along the lines of Porsche doing Porsche things. We've got maybe an indifferent SR8 on that one.
Very interesting. It is just less than 24 minutes gone now. There's just over 20 remaining in this second race of round 5 in the JPB Radical SR8 Championship. Next time out, of course, we'll be back same time, same place in 1 week's time at Bathurst circuit. We always seem to visit in the Radical Race series on the JP YouTube channel, and also in the officials as well, as that series follows the officials. Also visiting some other circuits we've seen very often in the past, like the Nordschleife on the 11th of November, and Knock Hill as well, which has become a bit of a recent fixture in the Radical Race series. Well, that's mostly entirely down to John McHutchison.
Yes, it is. Knock Hill is entirely down to John McHutchison. It is, you're right. The interesting thing about the Nords, though, is we'll let this battle pan out at the moment. Bird's going to go up the inside. If both of these want to go into the pits, one of them's got to concede here because they both can't go in at the same time. Buson and Bird both didn't. Interesting thing about Nordschleife, there is no 10-minute sprint race. It is a flat 60-minute race with pit stops. So there's no reverse to it. There's no sprint. It is qualifying straight 60-minute sprint for the last race of the season.
Okay, it's worth noting. That's I suppose that the two-race format doesn't quite work at North.
It's pointless. Let's be real about it. We might as well combine the race. They'll only get one lap in, well, 2, and then we'll have to wait 8 minutes for them to get round the other side. So Bird again with Buson side by side going down into Lacombe once more. And they stay. Buson got past Bird there as well. Yeah, so we've combined the 2 races together and we've delivered a 60-minute with pit stops on the final race of the season.
Probably a wise call, I would say.
Thank you.
Far as the Nordschleife goes, that's to look forward to, as I say, on the 11th of November later on this year. Just less than 20 minutes remaining then. Mike Buson still lead ahead of Jamie Bird. The driver you can see just ahead of them, by the way, is Race in 14th position. Not the last runner anymore, because Leo Anderson has re-emerged, I'm glad to say, after the opening couple of laps where VR wasn't working by the sounds of things. He's back again now, though, and running. We'll get points, I think, for 15th position, which is fairly sizable. But it looks like that's all it's going to be. Williams is back out on the circuit as well in 13th place after that recent crash and tow back to pit lane.
Yeah, he'll obviously got his fast repair done and he will carry on. There's a chance he may get Josh Reed, and the reason for that is Reed pitted on lap 2. So it's whether or not Reed's going to be able to get to the end. There's also doubts about James Barry, who pitted on lap 1, whether or not he's going to be able to get to the end or if he's going to have to pit again. Bird and Buson, not got that problem. So we'll see here as well. They're taking this very, very long here. I am surprised they've taken it this long.
Well, if they're not going to change tyres, I suppose there's no point in pitting early, really, because if the longer you run here, the more you can run down the fuel, the lighter your car gets, and as a result, the faster you'll get as well. And it doesn't change the amount of fuel that you'll have to put in at the end of this race, because they all know the figure that they need to get it to the end of the race. And so they'll all do the same. That won't change, but the lightness of the car certainly will. And so not surprised the 2 leaders are staying out this long, that's for sure. Now they go side by side again. It looks like Bird is going straight through here on Boson. I'll tell you what I am surprised to see, though, is a lack of working together almost from these two. Maybe in these last 5-10 minutes they've started to do something a little bit like what we've just seen and started to work together. But the first 15 minutes or so were just all out battling, and it didn't seem to make a lot of sense when they were so far out front of the rest of the field, and they could have saved fuel between them and worked together to make this a 2-horse race. But the fact is they've still got Rolliston lurking only 3 or 4 seconds behind them.
Yeah, and Rollo last time out did that 2:13 he needed. He did a 2:13.89. So a great job there. Now the interesting thing will be about that pit stop. At the moment, McHutchinson is going to be in and around that. He's 34 seconds away from the guys in front. Now, pit lane times at the moment are around about 40 seconds. Now, I would love to say that he's going to come out in front with a 10-second gap, but I'm also aware that you can't really take that into consideration at the moment, because obviously the pit lane times do get a little bit funky. So we'll have to see what happens when these guys dive in, just how close McHutchinson's going to be.
Let's wait and see. On that front, he's the leading driver to have made a stop, and so that's why we're focusing in on him. You'd imagine after repairing his car, he'd be pretty quick as well, or he has been pretty quick so far as well. But let's wait and see on that front as well as we go in towards the end of the lap. It's going to be another lap past here, so nearly half an hour gone now. Makes you wonder just how much further these guys can go with what I believe is 7 laps remaining, and they're, as I said, they're going quicker and quicker and quicker, because Jamie Bird just set the fastest lap of the race overall. Yeah,
Mellis has finally gone in. Rolliston has not. Boson not, and Bird not. And Bird has, as you say, set the fastest lap on a 2:12.85. So how much fuel they've got, it's got to be at the end of this lap. There can't be much more in it. But they don't need this. They don't need a back marker in the way. They need this clear run all the way into the pit lane. It's got to be imperative that they get that clear run. And at the moment, with Julian Rees just up the road, it'll be interesting to see how this has been handled here. And for Rees on that one. But Paul Crabb has got Ewan Bramer now nestled in right behind him. And doubts about Bramer lap 3. Can he get to the end? It's going to be very tight, I think.
Yeah, I've got doubts about that for sure. But let's wait and see on that front. I think he was motivated slightly by damage repairs, which of course had to be actioned after the incident at the final chicane. That Crabb was also involved in, and they've come together again here now. Not literally for the moment, but the battle for P5 is certainly on. And Bramer, with the speed on the inside, goes straight through. That looked pretty easy in the end for Ewan Bramer, who is now 5th place ahead of Paul Crabb. You'd imagine this will be a race-long battle to the end as well, as long as they can both make it.
Yeah, I think they're going to carry on and just continue to fight Crabb on that one. I do like Boggs is coming YouTube chat. This is where the legends are hanging out. This is full of legends out here, mate, and they're on the racetrack as well, driving his amazing SR8. So, yeah.
He's not talking about us.
No, he's not talking about me and you, mate. You know what I mean? We're just two little voices up in the booth. He doesn't mean me and you on that one.
No.
As much as we'd love to think it would be about us, but it's not.
Yeah. Oh dear. Into the final chicane again.
They're still going.
They go past again. Yeah, they're still going. I mean, there's still 6 laps to go here, I think. So let's not get too carried away that we're near the end of the race. That we aren't by any means. Just over 13 minutes to go here. There will be a pit stop to come, but when? I've got to say, this is giving me more confidence in the likes of Bramer, who pitted really early. I think he's going to have to do 17 laps on a tank of fuel. If these guys make it to lap 17, then we're going to have our answer on Bramer. If not, and we see everybody in here, then maybe he's going to need a second stop and a splash.
Yeah, I think so, but Cutchinson's gap's gone out. It hasn't come down. I expected it to come down, and it didn't. But that's because the front two are basically running on fumes at this moment in time. and are going faster and faster and faster. Last time 2:13.31 for Bird, 2:13.12 for Buson, and McHutchinson was a 2:13.44. So he was 3 tenths slower than the two guys up front. But yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. And Crab and Bramer are not leaving each other alone at all.
Not really.
No.
Crab right behind him on the way through the kink on the cable straight. He's almost too close there. Gets a slingshot now. And can he get through all the way? Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, he did that decisively.
I'm not sure whether the angle just, or the camera angle there just foreshortened the angle there, and it was actually not as close as it looked. But from our viewing there, it looked mighty close. Bremer looks to the inside again on the way towards Bruxelles, not looking to give up this one too early. They've got to be careful of Mellis, by the way, further behind. He pitted from 4th place a few moments ago. He's now down in 7th, and he's only 4 seconds behind these two, looking to catch up if they battle as well.
Yeah, we'll start trying to get his position moved in. Will Stefan Mellis, he's still there on the racetrack, still doing a great job in that Bounty Hunter X machine. If you're wondering why it's called that, Stefan Mellis is actually a DJ, and that's his DJ name, DJ Bounty Hunter X. Buson's got in, Bird did not.
Well, where does Buson come out in relation to McCutcheon, first of all, and when is Jamie Bird going to make his pit stop? Is there going to be a difference in pit times for the two of them as the 5 laps to go mark is crossed? These two will battle it out in pit lane by the looks of things, as John McCutcheon makes his way up towards the line now. He is just into the final chicane, waiting for Buson to get that green icon next to his name that suggests he's getting on the pit exit. It's not coming. Now it does. Buson could be right in here with McCutcheon, who is not far away despite his early pit stop, despite his front end loss earlier on.
Oh.
He is still in this race, and he's going to be 3rd at least. I think he'll be ahead of Rolliston.
Yeah, Rollo is gone round again. They're at the end of Lacombe. Bird is on his way down into Rivage, the right-hander. Bramer is still battling away with Crab. Mellis is only 4 seconds back. Whether or not Bramer's got to go in, it's looking likely now, but Jamie Bird has got near 17 laps here, Ewan. So maybe for Ewan, a little bit of saving fuel possibly could get him to the end.
Well, if Bird comes in this lap, then yes, I think he'll need to. If not, then maybe not, to be honest. Maybe he won't need to save so much fuel if indeed Bird decides to go one more after this one, or indeed Rolliston, because that would prove that these cars can go as long as Bremer requires it to go, as Bird makes his way into Purple Frere now. He's got a big decision to make. I think whether he's going to run out of fuel here, Bird, or not, he's got to come in here and just cover off Buson.
Absolutely. It's without a shadow of a doubt. He has got to cover off Mike. That's it. That's it, really.
Does he into the final chicane here? Goes wide. It looked like he was shaping up for an exit onto the front straight, but he's in pit lane. So this could be a reaction to Buson. Let's see if Ralston comes in. If he does, I think Bremer's in trouble. And I think he is in that case. At 16 laps fuel, that suggests maybe that they are running out at the end of lap number 16 here. So Buson into Blanchimont and through the very fast left-hander. The race off pit lane is going to be very interesting between the two of them, and they need to be quick as well, unless they want John McCutcheon to be involved in the fight. Just 1.8 seconds, 1.7 as they get towards the end of this lap. There is Bird making his way out now. He will get off the pit limiter. He will be in the lead here, I think, Jamie Bird, and he takes the short line through turn 1. He is indeed in the lead. Buson goes wide into La Source as well. He's got some catching to do in these final 10 minutes.
Oh, Rollo just... Yeah, I really thought he was going to come out really, really close to McHutchison, and he has come out, but he's 2 seconds back. Still doable. Bramer and Crab still fighting, but look now, the gap's extended, and it's all because of Buson's slower pit lane time over Jamie Bird. He was 1.4 seconds on pit lane time slower, which is why this gap is as matured as it is. And Paul Crabb and Ewan Bramer side by side going into the Lacombe. Who's going to give it up? Whoa. Nobody. Crabb's going to come back at him through Malmedy. Oh.
Bramer turned out of that into Malmedy, but he still gets the exit. He's on the outside line through the downhill right-hander. If he can stay here, he'll be on the inside for No Name. He's just, he's just not quite got his nose alongside, and Crabb gets through. A hard-fought battle again. He's clearly not worried about fuel here, Bramer. He's clearly going for it, unless he's just doing it for fun until he hits for a second time. But this battle for 5th place, I think, is going to be one of the more interesting for the remainder of this race, although McCutcheon has now caught Bousson.
He has. He's just brought him down to 7/10 at the moment there for Mike. So Mike's got a decision to make now. Does he defend or does he not? And personally, I'm hoping he does. Just do it is in YouTube chat. Jamie is fast. Jamie has looked very, very fast at Spa. He's having a great beginning to this season. His first 5 rounds, he's done an absolute incredible job. And this is going to be no different here for Jamie Bird. But now it's all on Bousson. And what's Bousson going to do? Is he going to defend? Is he going to not defend? I don't know. I think he's got the pace, Mike, but he just needs the confidence to go with it. And that's the problem for Bousson. Sometimes he just doesn't quite have the confidence in himself that he can stay in front of guys like John McCutcheon.
Let's see if he can on this occasion as they get over 3 laps to go. It is going to be Jamie Bird's day by the looks of things, but he's got to just bring it home from here. 3.5 seconds, his advantage over Bousson. And then McCutcheon, who's right up the back of him on the way up the hill here. He's got a good run through Radion. Surely he's not going to be denied. Again, he's always too close to Bousson here. We pull out immediately onto the straight. That will negate some of the overspeed effects, but he should be through here.
Yeah,
and he is.
he
I
is.
don't even think Bousson's really fought that.
No,
oh,
I don't
off in the
believe...
background. Sorry, Crab's off. What happened there?
Huh?
Crab drove down the grass on the Kemmel Straight, and I've no idea why.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness! A snap of oversteer through the kink. That's unbelievable. And he's done a very good job to save it as well, to be fair to him. But how has that even happened in the first place?
He's lost.
Oh my goodness!
He's lost concentration now. That is.
Or he's weaving around to break the slipstream.
That's whatever it was he did. It's weird. Right? Yeah. It's very bizarre there. So McCutcheon and Bousson now trying to close up on Crab and trying to make it on Bird, sorry, in front. 3 point coming down to 3 seconds. Could this be a last lap fight between Bird and McCutcheon?
I think it could be too little too late for McCutcheon, although he's going to get close. Might be. It's going to have to be on the last lap if it comes at all. But I'm slightly doubtful, I've got to be honest. We get below 5 minutes to go, by the way. 2 to go at the end of this one. And effectively, you need to gain 1.5 seconds per lap. Now, he's had the benefit, of course, of the slipstream of Bousson on this previous lap. So this lap might well be the fastest of the race so far for John McCutcheon. Let's see. Over the line, 13.3 from Bird. It is. Oh, look at that. 9 tenths quicker. The fastest lap of the race so far for John McCutcheon. But even if he does that twice in the remaining 2 laps, he'll still finish over 1 second off Jamie Bird.
Yeah, but he's still got Bousson going to be able to close in as well now. The draft for Bousson's going to play a part. Crab has lost a position. Well, we saw how he lost a position to Bramer, but let's see how close Bousson can get. It's 0.5 seconds, 4 tenths. He needs to be a little bit closer for Mike Bousson to be able to challenge going down into Lacombe. He's coming up now, 3 tenths. Now it's going to start really closing in, down to 2. Oh, not close enough this time for Mike Bousson. Can he get him through Blanchimont?
Crab is close here again as well on Bramer. They're about 9 seconds behind these two, and he's not close enough, Crab, this time round, so he's going to be waiting for either Blanchimont or the final lap as well. Here are these two. I mean, Bousson is going to gain on these straights, that's for sure. He is in the slipstream. However, he just doesn't have the speed through the corners, the middle sector, to to be close enough. I mean, the gap's already at half a second here, and they're only halfway through the middle sector.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get him. I don't think Buson alone has quite got the pace, and I don't think McCutcheon's got the pace to be able to get hold of Jamie Bird. I think, although I'd love to see this come down to a last lap battle with all of them, I just don't think it's going to on that one. And, well, saying that, both of them are quicker than Bird in sectors 2. McCutcheon quicker in sector 3. Buson slower than Bird in sector 3 on this one. Drug test for Hutchinson, obviously on speed, says Paul Lemay. Oh, dear.
Nice play on words there at the end there as well.
Yeah,
so
love it. I can't believe I should read things before I read them out, really, but never mind.
Well, that might be a good thing to do.
Nah.
But, you know, we're not promoting it, but we're just saying. Out the final corner for the penultimate time for Jamie Bird. What's the gap closing this time round? It's only 8/10 of a second. So Bird wasn't quite as quick as he was on the previous one this time round. However, neither was McCutcheon. So effectively the time gain is the same. The gap is still 2 seconds. And this will be the main battle, I think, to watch. Bremer versus Crab on the way towards Lecombe. And Bremer goes wide immediately. This is surely going to be Crab's overtake to make.
The question is, you can't do it through El Rouge Radion. You just cannot jeopardise it, Paul. It's got to be down and Camel straight. Buson's closing in. I don't think he's close enough either. But this, he's too close. Now you need to be coming out. Oh my dear, I thought he was just going to run him straight over that time around there for Paul Crab. But he is, he's squeezed in Bremer. He's taken a leap out of McCutcheon play, but Bremer hangs on. He hangs on that one. And Ewan Bremer does manage to hang on. Mike must have made a mistake somewhere. He's lost 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, don't know what would have happened to him there, I'm afraid. But looks like he has made a tiny bit of an error. And so this is the battle to watch towards the end. But has Crab lost too much time now? Bremer defended well on the inside there, even though, as you say, Crab did crowd him towards the right-hand side of the road. Bremer broke a lot later, had a better run through Lecombe, and now Crab's got work to do to even have a chance in the final chicane.
Yeah, he's got 6 tenths. It's going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult, I think, for him.
Almost impossible, I think, for Crab. Let's see what he can do in the Tavolo and Curb Fair corners. I think he's too far behind. Speaking of too far behind, John McCutcheon is as well, as Jamie Bird makes his way through the final corners. The time ticks down to the end of 45 minutes, and the feature race in round 5 of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship is going to go to Jamie Bird, who takes a big stride towards James Barry in this championship with a race win here at Spa. Jamie Bird wins ahead of John McCutcheon. What's going to happen behind? Paul Crab is going to be too far behind to do anything on Ewan Bremer into 5th position.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's actually Jamie Bird's first win. I'm checking my notes, and I'm pretty sure that is Jamie Bird's first win of the season.
I'll let you let you check that. I don't know, but a good win nevertheless. To hold off John McCutcheon by a second there is a very good achievement indeed. And you know, it's not like McCutcheon had loads of traffic throughout. I know in the first quarter of the race he did, but in the majority of the last 3 quarters of the race, he was driving on his own, and it was effectively Bird versus McCutcheon time trialling, and Bird just about hung on there.
Now, I'm checking back. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't win at Monza. I don't believe he won. I've got me stumped now, just in case I've stumped myself, and my thought process has gone out the window. But I'm pretty sure he did not win at Monza, and that's been his first win of the season. It is, yeah, he didn't win. Yeah, it is his first win.
There we go. This is Graham Matthew, by the way, coming through the final corners, just with Leah Anderson behind in 15th place, and a trip off the circuit, because who the hell cares at the end of the race?
So desperately trying to get some form of recognition for herself. I passed him. I got past him eventually. So fair play to Leah Anderson. Have some fun while you're out on the race circuit there. And this man could be the man who's going to be most kicking himself this evening.
Yeah, I think he will be at the end of all that. That's a real shame for Rob Williams, who was going to be involved in that top 6 we were watching have the battles towards the end there. He would have been part of that and made it a 7, I think, if indeed that crash hadn't happened at Malmedy. Although Mellis, I suppose, was in the same position as Williams, and he only finished 7th and a few seconds further behind. So who knows? Hard to tell what ifs, of course. Let's have a look at the race results then, if we can, before the interviews begin. After 45 minutes of racing, it is Jamie Bird who takes his first win of the season by 1 second ahead of John McCutcheon. Mike Bousson finishes in 3rd ahead of David Royston, and even Buemba, who finishes just ahead of Paul Crabb inside the top 5. Stefan Mellis gets to 7th ahead of Melo de Graaf, who had to chip in the gravel early on, but still finished 8th ahead of Carl Jacquelet. And James Barry, the championship leader, taking a bit of a hit in points, finishing 10th. Graham Matthew finishes outside the top 10, along with Josh Reed, Robert Williams, and Julian Rees. 2 laps down was Leah Anderson after joining in late with VR problems. Frederick Racedike never started the races. So let's get into the interviews. And John McCutcheon, first of all, who I believe won the first race. And I've already forgotten.
Yeah, he did.
And yeah, he did.
Oh,
and then came back through to finish 2nd in race 2. Welcome in, John. Good to have you with us. Good to talk to you. Let's talk with that second race here at Spa. First of all, fairly incident-packed for yourself. You ended up with your front nose gone at one stage, at least on our screen, and you pitted early, came back through the field, still finished in 2nd place. How was the second race? First of all, the incident itself to take your front nose off, and then the run back through the field.
Oh, good evening, guys.
Evening.
Looking down into the bus stop, I get a cross stop with Paul, and they said something happened to his steering wheel at the bus stop. So I tried to stay inside as much as possible, and it just lost it and clipped me, unfortunately. But that's racing. Forgot about it already. I'm just annoyed at myself because I would have pitted straight away, but thinking I could only get 40 litres of fuel in the tank, and you can put extra in after in the feature race. So a little boo-boo.
Did that particularly change the outcome of the race?
If I'd pitted on the second lap, I possibly could have won, yes. Yeah, they've saved me 2 or 3 seconds because I was driving a slow car.
Yeah. In terms of the opening race, we'll go back to that now. I mean, race victory for you in that one. James Barry just behind. I was chatting to James and commenting that the slipstream and the pass towards Lecombe didn't seem quite as nailed on as it did in previous seasons or in the Radical. I'm not sure whether it's just because it's the SR8 and I haven't seen racing in it for a while, or whether it's because something about this circuit or these Radicals has changed. But did you feel like leading on to the last lap was almost a certain way for you to lose the lead, or were you pretty confident you'd hang on?
No, they fixed the draft in this car a long time ago now. It used to be ridiculous. You could just cruise past cars, but they fixed it. So it's not as easy. The draft is still strong, but it's not as easy to pass, if you know what I mean. So as long as I keep it tight, brake when he brakes, they won't get round me. The double slipstream is what you want. If you get 2-car run, then you can just power by. But no, it's all good. Good fun.
Absolutely. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Two people actually. Paul Crabb for having a little go at him in the race. The way it goes, and a shout out to our pal Luke Maxwell. Hope everything's okay for him.
Absolutely. John, thanks for coming to chat to us, and congratulations on a 1st and a 2nd place tonight.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thanks very much. John McCutcheon, 2nd place in race 2, 1st in race 1. 1st in race 2, though, just ahead of John, was Jamie Bird, who now joins us as well. Welcome in, Jamie. Good to have you with us. We're figuring out whether this was your first race win of the season. It turns out it is. And it was just by a second over John McCutcheon. How are you feeling in those final few laps, as he was gaining, but not quite quickly enough?
He was, Ewan, yeah. I couldn't take one eye off the F3 black box. Yeah, John is quicker than me, and I was probably lucky that some of the other guys, including John, actually I think they got tangled up early on. Yeah, it was a nail biter, but for once I didn't throw it off.
Sorry, Jamie.
No, fair play, James. That's justified.
Talk about race 1 a little bit as well, because we did see you, as you mentioned, that spin-off down at the final chicane, and it was a very chaotic race. But you did manage to get yourself in the top 10, which I guess is the important thing. How was race 1 and the mild carnage in the second half of the field?
That I completely outbraked myself, and I was following Dave Rolliston. Shouldn't have gone for a dive bomb, but ended up dragging myself into it. But when I looked, I was already past the 100 board. So I just had to hope I didn't hit anybody, and lucky I didn't cause any carnage. And I was only saying a few races ago in a different league that dive bomb is not my style. And then the last 2 or 3 races, I've done a dive bomb, which has usually not worked out. So yeah, I was lucky to be in the top 10 for race 2, because I could have easily ruined mine in at least 3 of the guys' races, I think.
Well, I'm glad that it didn't. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just you guys for putting the league together, and John as well. And I suppose to say John for not catching me at the end.
Very nice of him. I'm sure he let you at the end. No, congratulations on a well-earned victory in race 2, Jamie, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Cheers, Ewan. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jamie Bird, race winner in race 2 tonight. It looks like all we're going to get in terms of driver interviews tonight. So we'll sign off here, James. It's been a good halfway mark of the season, or a race to bring us to the halfway mark of the season, I should say. Spa always delivers, and it has yet again here 2 race finishes for the lead, which resulted in pretty nail-biting final laps.
Yeah, it did. And we had the lull in the middle. Excuse me. And then everybody came together after the pit stops, and it was whether or not Booster was going to hang on. Was he going to hang on from McHutchison? What about Bird? It was all sort of nail biting. But if you look at what we've got coming up, you're going to have the same thing. We're going to Bathurst next week. Then we're off to Brands Hatch GP, Imola, Knock Hill. If you've not watched SR8s or SR10s at Knock Hill, oh my God, it is just, well, chaotic, I think would be the word. And then, of course, the 60-minute at Nords. This championship isn't done, and we'll see after these scores. They'll have the one drop week applied this week, and then the last one will be applied at round 8 at Imola. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out.
Certainly will. Make sure you join us again next week for the next round of the JP Radical SR8 Championship. But for now, make sure you subscribe to the JP YouTube channel for all the other racing that goes on throughout the week. But from myself, Ian Leary, and James Parfitt alongside me, it's goodbye for now. We'll see you in 1 week at Bathurst.